Bible, and in this case we turn to the book of Revelation, chapter 13, where we see that the beast from the earth commands all men to worship the image of the beast. We can find this account in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verses 11 through 17. We'll just read a part of this account. Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. Now, in this particular account, we are dealing with a prophecy of something that had not yet happened when it was written by the Apostle John, the Revelator. So this example is rather unique in that respect. Nevertheless, we do see an act of civil disobedience that is apparent in this account from the fact that there are going to be those who will not worship the image of the beast. And what will happen to those people who refuse to worship the image of the beast? They will be killed. Notice that it does not say that those who are asked to worship the image of the beast will kill those in government who ask them to worship the image of the beast, but instead they will be killed themselves for failing to worship the image of the beast. So what is the ungodly request made by the government or the king or the governing authorities in this particular example? It is to worship the image of the beast. And as God's people know, worship is reserved for God alone. Therefore, if a government tells us to worship something else, or if some governing authority tells us that we are to worship something else or someone else or an image of something, which is similar to what we saw in the book of Daniel chapter 3 with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who refused to bow down to the golden image erected by King Nebuchadnezzar. In fact, this is actually, in some ways, a foreshadowing of this event that occurs in the book of Revelation. Then again, the ungodly request made by the governing authorities in this account is to worship something other than God. And what is the godly response in this example from the book of Revelation? It is to refuse to worship the image of the beast. That is, those who are godly during this time refuse to bow down or worship the image of the beast. And we know that some will not do that because they will be killed, the Bible tells us. So, does the godly response to this command to worship the image of the beast by the governing authorities include violence against the government on the part of the godly? And the answer, yet once again, is no. Indeed, the only violence that occurs in this example is that is done by the ungodly governing authorities that command the people of God to violate God's law. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to check out